Greg again from Heck Yeah, You Can Cook, and today you are going to make a garden-style pasta sauce and then serve it with some spaghetti. One of the first things I ever made, I remember working at a grocery store and seeing that Ragu had a garden variety pasta sauce, and I said, let me try that. And I worked on it over the years and found that making it yourself is just so much better. You know what's in it, you don't have the preservatives. I'm going to show you the ingredients for today's dish. I'm going to use my wok. If you have a large frying pan, that'll work. You need something with high sides as you're simmering this down. I have seen this done in a stock pot, so you can do it in a traditional stock pot, which I have right here. And I don't know why I turned around. That was kind of funny, right? But I also need that to make the spaghetti. And also for the tool, we're going to need a strainer for the spaghetti, of course. All right, we got a mixing bowl right here, and inside this we have got, I'll start with the ingredients here as well. We've got a pound of ground turkey. Any ground beef we use can be used, and you can just leave it out entirely. It's up to you. I have another tool. You need a can opener, because the can we got to open. We need a kitchen knife. We need 2 spoons. I love this paddle to stir with, and then a spoon to make sure the spaghetti stays separated. A pair of tongs to remove the spaghetti and add it to the dish later. The ingredients for today's dish, you're going to need 10 ounces of baby spinach. I know that sounds like a lot, but it won't be after we get done cooking it. I've got 1 yellow bell pepper, and I've got it sliced, all right, in pieces about like that. So like imagine slicing pieces and then cutting in half. I've got 5 cloves of garlic here, and I've got them sliced. I've got 1 yellow squash, and the squash has been quartered in the larger slices, and the smaller slices I just left in half, such as this. Okay, so kind of a mixed cut, and all of it about 1/4 of an inch thick to hold up in cooking. I have got 1 container, 8 ounces of portabella mushrooms. I have got 2 carrots thinly sliced. Okay. So you're going to make sure this is very thin. I've got 1/2 of a red onion, 1/2 a red onion chopped. I've got some olive oil when we get this started. I've got a teaspoon of fennel seed, whole, not processed, whole. I have combined 3/4 of a teaspoon of harissa with 3/4 of a teaspoon of cumin, all right? A little bit different, probably hadn't used that in spaghetti. We're actually kind of going to spice and use this to help mostly spice in the turkey before we cook it. And I've got mixed 1 teaspoon of basil and 1 teaspoon of oregano, the dried version. If you'd like to use the fresh, I would go with about 3 sprigs of each. I like the dry version for this. I just think it simmers better as we're making this. Now this entire, and I also have a 28-ounce can of petite diced tomatoes, 28-ounce can of it, all right? And of course I've got that open that'll be your sauce base basically as you're making this. And I've also got 7 ounces of dairy-free shreds. I've got my recipes, hopefully everyone will see, are adaptable to different tastes. Feel free to always change it out ingredients. I also got taste. The first steps we're going to do here is we're going to make sure we preheat our wok. All right. I set that on a low setting, maybe 2 on the burner. Preheat your frying pan. That's always a thing to do. We're going to season the turkey first. What I do is I move it in the middle and I put it in a mixing bowl here. And to season it, I give it a good pinch of salt. All right. A pinch of the oregano and basil mix. 2 hearty pinches of the harissa and the cumin. Now this harissa you can replace, if you can't find this as a dried chili powder, any chili powder will work. We're just kind of making our own type of sausage here. Now neither one of these have added salt, that's why I added. If you find it and it has salt in it, please don't add it. Take your spoon here and just kind of mix it together. Hey everybody, we're going to change the candle right now so you guys can see inside of the wok and what process we're going. While I have this minute, please like, share, and subscribe. Remember, every 100 subscribers I get, I give away a free apron. We've allowed the wok to heat for a few minutes here. Add just a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to add the garlic and the red onion. I also add the carrot at this time and the fennel seed. Pinch of salt. Stir this really well. If you feel like you need a little more olive oil, which I do here, a little drop more. Stir this and cook for about 3 or 4 minutes. You're going to want to stir this pretty frequently as it's cooking. The timer has gone off. It's been 4 minutes. This time I add the yellow peppers, the mushrooms, and if you chose it as an option, I add the turkey or any ground beef that you like at this time. You do not have to add this part if you don't want to. You can make this a vegetarian dish if you wish. I then add another pinch of salt, 2 pinches of the oregano and basil mix, and 1 pinch of the harissa or any chili powder. Well, actually, we'll go with 2 pinches of that and the cumin. Stir this together. We're going to allow this to cook for about 5 or 6 minutes, stirring frequently. At this time, if you feel like it's a little dry and needs some more olive oil, you may add some. I also need it to cook at a certain temperature. If you don't feel like it's cooking fast enough, increase the heat a little bit. As you can see, everyone, it didn't quite take 6 minutes. The turkey has browned. I'm now going to add the squash. I'm going to add the tomatoes. See why you need either a large wok, a huge frying pan, or you can use a stock pot to make this. Stock pot's kind of the classic mode. I'm going to add a pinch more at this time for the salt. And then I'm also going to add the rest of the spice. Mix this together good. See how pretty this is coming together? And now we're going to let this simmer for about 6 minutes as well. On this step, I usually don't stir that much. I just want the tomatoes to work with the seasoning. And I find if I stir a whole lot, I may even it out some. I kind of like the own cooking process to take over and not stir as much for this part. And yes, you want that hard of a boil. I've turned this up to medium heat. If I see if the part of it's not getting around to the sides, I just push it into the middle. Turn a little bit because you're still trying to soften the carrots and you're trying to make this more of a sauce and get everything cooked down. Note to self, if you want to keep your spouse or significant other happy, while this is cooking, instead of staring at it, it's a good time to clean up the mess you just made. As you can see, you kind of stir it through just once in a while. We've had the timer go off. We've had our 6-7 minutes to let it settle down. You can see how the tomatoes are breaking down, adding that reddish color we're used to in spaghetti sauce. And now we're going to add the coup de grace. Hope you didn't forget about the 10 ounces of baby spinach. This is going to really help thicken, add color, and complete our garden vegetable spaghetti sauce. I put all 10 ounces right on top. Last little light pinch of salt. I do not stir it in, just cover it. Turn the heat down just a little bit, and we'll come back and check on that in about 6 minutes. Timer's gone off. You see the spinach is welted in. Now we're going to turn it, see how it's thickening up. My new Pampered Chef paddle, wooden paddle, I really like it. Spatula. I'm going to turn that down to about 2. Let it go for a little bit. And while this is working, this is when you start your pasta. I'm using spaghetti today. Any pasta will work. Okay. Show a little trick here on the camera. You add the pasta in while the water is cold. Out and brown trick. I tried it. I didn't think it would work. Pasta actually came out better. I know I should have spun the spaghetti and been all fancy, but I did not. So you start off with the water, and the water is cold. Turn it on. And you're going to bring it to a boil, cook as you normally would. For some reason, the dry pasta does better when you do it this way. Little life hack. Hope everybody enjoys. The pasta we're going to cook to the firm level, so it says it's 8 minutes. So we're going to let this go. If the pasta gets going, water gets going, we're going to allow this just to simmer just like this. And then we'll add a thickening agent right when the pasta finishes, and we'll show you the finished dish. You can stir this occasionally. All right, and we're at about a 30-minute mark. This type of homemade spaghetti sauce, like I said, is not quick. However, you do it on a Sunday afternoon. As you can see, you've had time in between. Instead of just doing Netflix and chilling, you can make some very hearty dishes for your family. And this will store it in the refrigerator for several days. As you can see, we got the pasta finishing up over here. We've got the spaghetti sauce continuing to thicken. We're almost there. Now the longer you can let this simmer down, as you can see, there's been a lot of reduction. The flavor gets better and the sauce gets thicker. We're going to add a little thickening agent here in just a second. Like I said, this takes a little bit of time. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a slower process. But most good cooking is time consuming. Pasta is going to be done in just a minute. We'll take that off. We'll allow that to steam dry. And what I mean by steam drying your pasta is you don't rinse it. You pour it into a colander, into the sink. Allow it to sit there and dry from its own steam as it's sitting in the sink. And then while that steam is drying, we'll add a thickening agent, and I'll show you how the spaghetti sauce is plated. We have removed the pasta. It's steam drying at this time. As that steam drying, zoom in here a little bit. We're going to add our cheese. Now, like I said before, we're going to turn the temperature down just a little bit. We're going to add our cheese. My cheese is vegetarian cheese. You can add 7 to 10 ounces or more of your favorite cheese. Parmesan works well. Italian blends work well. This is a mozzarella imitation. Mozzarella works well. Stir that in. Now a little trick here, as soon as you get that going and starting to melt, you're going to remove it from the heat. You don't want to burn the cheese. That was 7 ounces. This is vegetarian style cheese. You can add other cheeses. Now you can either remove this from the heat at this point in time, or you can just allow it to stand. Turn the burner off and allow it to simmer a little more. We'll show that plated in just a minute.